use Lickilicky. So the tank stats on this Pokemon are amazing. That with over 100 base hit points, 100 base both defenses, you can pretty much make this any kind of tank that you want and have it be good just in a really well-rounded way, which is really awesome. That, the high base hit points is really what you need on this Pokemon. And even then, it does have some good offensive capability for if you want to use it in that way as well. Overall, I'm really happy to see a Pokemon that's like Snorlax again. It's good when I keep saying Snorlax 2.0, and maybe there'll be a Pokemon that'll come along that even turns out to be better than Snorlax. I'm just kidding myself at this point. But anyway, if we look at its typing, it also has great defensive typing. Now, while normal isn't going to leave you a lot of opportunities to switch in and outplay your opponent, once you get in and established, you're not going to have to worry about too much. Fighting is your only weakness, and everything else is going to hit you neutral. If you're setting up against them well, you don't really have to worry at all. So let's hop into Pokemon Showdown, and I have a lot of Lickilicky sets. So the first one, Curse Amnesia, Rest Power Whip. Pretty much just a Resto setup with Curse Amnesia, and then you just go into your one offensive move. Really only stopped by Sap Sipper. And on top of that, also going back to the old ways of when I was coming up with defensive ideas for a Pokemon, that depending on how you do the EVs, you can make a Pokemon more durable by not having 252 in the hit points. Because Lickilicky's base hit points are so high, you can actually go 200 EVs in the hit points, and then the rest between the defenses, and you're going to be about as tanky as possible. Since the game generally has more physical Pokemon, I was thinking roughly the same amount of EVs for defense and special defense, but go with the Impish nature, and you should be good from there. Also, since Curse does boost less than Amnesia, it's better to just have a naturally higher defense, because Amnesia is going to power up really fast. You can also even cut down a bit more if you're considering the Amnesia. Become a really good tanky defensive Pokemon, and then just get special defense where you need it. You can also go the other way around with Lickilicky and have Curse with high amounts of special defense. That max out hit points, max out special defense, put the rest into your Curse, and now once you get set up, you're going to be very strong. And again, this is really just going to give you an extra attacking option. That Fire Punch Body Slam is something to consider in this. You can also have Power Whip here again, or a lot of other moves that you can put Earthquake now that you're not going to be really resisted by as much, even though that depending on how you combo, you can get rolled out by specific things. Chandelure with its ability is going to be able to make those fire type moves get absorbed. Also, if you have Earthquake, a Pokemon like Gengar can levitate and resist Body Slam as well. So you might have to pay attention to things like that, but overall you can come up with some really good ideas because Lickilicky's move pool is very, very deep, and we'll get into that right over here. So I mean, you have Power Punch, Earthquake, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, you have all the elemental punches, which means you can bring something together in a moveset. You still have that Vine Whip, you have Double Edge, even if you just want to do a huge chunk of damage, there's a lot of options for doing a lot of damage as well. Also, Lickilicky has the Oblivious ability, which means it can't be taunted, which means free setup. Pretty much one of the biggest problems with my strategies is that you can get out taunted in them. That mostly you're going to have 2 setup moves and 2 or even 3 setup moves sometimes. So I mean, you don't get taunted, you don't have to worry about that. It's really only Haze and Whirlwind, which isn't bad at all. So after that, I was even thinking about double battles. Like, there's so many ways to run Lickilicky. Lickilicky has the highest base damage stat explosion in the game. So the thing is, with explosion being a 250 base power, stab on top of that makes it 350 base power, and then it just has, a good, decent amount of attack. Like, it could have more attack and get more power out of it. I mean, still, it's a 300 base attack, base 375 base power move, hitting 2 opponents in a double battle. That's kind of ridiculous. I was also thinking about, just going with the Choice Scarf if you wanted to, or you could even go Choice Band and max out the hit points and try to get even more out of it. And you have some crazy options here. What also makes Lickilicky really good is that in double battles it has the Cloud 9 ability. It clears up weather, so if they're trying to set up rain, drought, sandstorm for their strategy, you just kind of clear that away, explode, most likely knock out both of them, or something like that, and you just have a lot of craziness behind the way that the strategy can be built up. After that, I was also thinking you can go singles again, Wish Protect, Power Whip, Dragon Tail. This is a really good phase set that if you have Spike, Stealth Rock set up, that you can pretty much just kind of wall out your opponent and then just swap through everything that they have. Kind of just showing the EVs again that you have the 252 option or the 200 option by just kind of spreading it out a bit more, depending on what your tankiness wants to be suited by. And on top of that, Power Whip, Dragon Tail is just going to give you a good amount of coverage, good amount of damage as well, that you can just chip through your opponent's team while really not taking too much. Set the Wish Protect, swap through them until you're in a very good position to just Power Whip them down and get a little extra damage. After that, there's even more doubles potential for Lickilicky. That what I was thinking here is that we have a great setup for Trick Room. That with a Brave Nature, instead of Adamant or whatever other defensive nature we've been running, you can slap a Life Orb, go max attack, go max hit points, and now you just have a really good amount of coverage. You have Gyro Ball, Power Whip, again Earthquake, Power Punch, Ice Punch, all these other moves, and you're going to be getting speed priority. I was thinking first turn Protect, set up Trick Room. Now you have a lot more coverage options and damage options to be supported by your Trick Room Pokemon as well. Getting a lot of damage. Earthquake's really good, hit both. I was thinking Musharna would be a good setup Pokemon in this situation. Has telepathy, so it's not going to be able to get hit by the Earthquake or the Explosion, while also pumping out a good amount of damage and sustainability. So then, once you're low on hit points or you're on the last couple turns, and your opponent isn't really going to predict you want to protect, boom, straight up Explosion, tons of damage from the Life Orb, and depending on how you play it, if you have a Ghost type setting Trick Room or you have a Protect on your team, you can really trade a good amount of KOs for one Lickilicky, as well as a good setup from the Trick Room. Third turn on Trick Room, fourth turn on Trick Room, Lickilicky uses Explosion, knocks out both your opponent's Pokemon. You still have your main setup Pokemon, and then you can just bring in something fresh, and now you still have Trick Room priority for that Pokemon, like Mega Ball Wow. how is your opponent going to get over highest explosion game and Mega Ball while being supported? You know, you have some options like this. So Licky, you can be an all-out attacker in singles, you can be a stall Pokemon, you can be a tank setup, you can just be a random Gambit in doubles, you can be an offensive Pokemon in doubles. You have a lot of options here. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's how you use Licky.